Hey, what's up? Welcome back to T is for Transformation. I'm your host, Shaun T, and today I want you to do something. Reflect. Think about a time when you were maybe in middle school or high school and you were just trying to find your way. I know for me, it was like, do I want to dance? Do I want to play an instrument? Do I want to sing? How invested do I want to stay in sports? And then you had home life and everything that was happening at home. But then there's something that's happening internal, meaning something that's happening inside of you, you changing and trying to find who you are. Now, oftentimes, those things are never discussed. And most people, they just kind of happen. You know, it's kind of like I make friends, you know, I go to school, I play sports, I do this, I do that. But there are a lot of people out there that are hiding something within themselves and they have no idea how to get it out. Specifically for me, talking about the fact that I was gay, growing up gay, hiding it, not knowing what to do, who to talk to, or just how to be in general. And on today's episode, we talk about the challenges and triumphs of personal identity. We're exploring the powerful influence of support and acceptance, particularly in the lives of those navigating their path under the scrutiny of social norms. Join us as we unfold Quinn Pender's remarkable journey of self-discovery, supported by his biggest cheerleader, his mom.
I'm from Clinton, Connecticut. My name is Quinn Pender. The biggest obstacle I would say that I went through it came out at a young age, right? So accepting myself and loving myself was something I never, ever did. I never did it. I was like, put out everyone else first. My friends come first. Family comes first, right? And I never cared for myself. So being such a young age, going to some of the best events I've ever been to in my life, I was so excited to be able to do these events, but to also go in and be with my mom and other people that were at the events. That's what the energy was all about for me. The energy was bringing me to life and putting me in a positive space where I felt like in my head was not a positive space, right? To be able to see myself then and then like to see myself now and to see how my transformation and like the way I've formed into an adult and the way I feel about myself now compared to whatever I was going through back then is just insane to me. You know what I mean? So I'm so excited.
And we are going to welcome Quinn to the show. Now, usually the guest is sitting over here, but I haven't seen him in so many years, and this is a moment. This is a moment. Well, Quinn, first I'll say welcome to the show.
Thank you.
But more importantly, I just want to say before we dive in from your perspective, I just want to say I'm like a proud, well, I'm not your dad. I'm old enough to be your dad, but I'm having a proud dad moment because, you know, from my perspective, I see you come to the events and I see this young kid and I'm just like, what is this? What propelled this young kid to come to an event and a slew of people who are basically 35 and older and you're thriving? But I always knew there was like a message behind that. And I don't even know if you knew what that message was at the time, but I would just like to get, you know, your experience because there's so many people out there that either have been through what you've been through and what we're going to talk about, or just are trying to find their way in life.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a journey. I'm so beyond blessed to be here and to talk to everyone and to see you. And it's definitely been interesting I'm sure for you to see me grow as a person. Because, yeah, you saw me when I was probably, what?
13, I think.
12 or 13 years old. I don't know, but now I'm 22, going on 23 this year. It's just like, it's exciting stuff, you know, and I feel like, I was just talking to my mom about it last night, and it's so awesome to be able to grow as a person, like, and she's seen me grow as a person, and self-growth is so important to me. We've gone through so much together with my family, with friends, with everything. I'm happy to be here. I really am.
I'm happy that you're here. You're gonna make me cry probably this entire time, but that's fine. We allow tears. So, like, take me back. Take me back. You're 13 years old. What propelled you to, I would say, start the process of changing your life, enhancing your life? What was that experience like? What were you going through? And I almost want you to talk about it from your personal perspective, but in a way that if there's a parent out there that is the child of someone that's like a young teen, or maybe talking to that young teen through your story.
Yeah, so I felt very alone at times, right? So my mom would bring me to these events, right? And I would feel like everyone was together. We would all be very supportive towards one another, and it was an exciting time.
Yeah.
But we'd also get to work out and feel that energy,
The
like
endorphins
the
of
endorphins,
that, yeah.
exactly. So it's more the atmosphere that I was surrounded by at the time. I feel like everything would come together, right? Like we would all be able to cry or laugh, depending on what was going on in the event, So it was a really cool time to be able to experience that at a young age, right? But it also gave my mom and I something to do together, right? Like I look back on these times, like when we were out in the waiting room, the pictures were coming up, like these photos, and I was crying out there. I'm like, Mom, this is beautiful, but it's like, wow, it's just so cool to be able to have those moments that we can hold.
Yeah. So what were you going through at that time? What was the process of like finding yourself?
I'm a twin. I have a twin brother. It's Ford. Love him. He's awesome. He's doing great. But there was a lot of comparing. I wasn't really a sports kid at the time, I should say. I remember I would be at my parents' house or, at my house, and with my mom or whatever, and I would just cry. And I'm like, why am I crying? I couldn't find a reason why, right? And the reason why I felt like it was because I was alone. I had everyone. I had all my family with me. I had, a couple of true friends here and there, right? But I couldn't see that. And that's what was very challenging for me.
But that's what I was gonna say, because you talk about being alone, and a lot of people don't understand what it feels like to be alone but be surrounded, and that is a major thing when you're finding your identity and who you truly are, and you're constantly comparing yourself, and you feel different because you may not know people who are like you. You don't see, you know you don't see the role models, meaning in the flesh. You might see people online or social media or on TV, but it's almost like really far
Right.
away from like your personal existence.
Right.
So, I know you were so young, but what were some of those feelings like that made you, kind of think like, oh, I am different? And, you know, I know you talked about sports and things like that, but what were some of the other things that were like deep within that you had to feel like you had to like maybe go to your mom and talk about, or like come to terms with?
I kind of like knew.
Yeah.
I didn't like girls, right? I didn't not like I wasn't attracted to girls, right? So in a sense of feeling like, okay, well, I guess this is just who I am, and then we're gonna have to grow and accept and love and.
Yeah. So how did you I don't want to say like come out, but who was like your biggest inspiration, or who was the person that was
You.
Oh,
You.
well, thanks.
No, seriously, like hands down, through everything, I always tell myself to trust and believe. You know what I mean? And like, if we will get through this, like, no matter what. Like, we've gone through so much in my life with family and with losing people and family members and just different transformations coming through life and that blossom and that go away. So I truly definitely think I can't, like, from the bottom of my heart, thank you enough for, seriously. Like, I used to, when I was younger, and I would start coming to the events, I had, like, pictures of you on my wall. Like, it's
Oh
just
my
kinda
gosh, I was a
crazy.
Backstreet Boy friend.
Just to inspire me and motivate me, right? Because to keep me pushing, to keep me going.
I mean, I definitely understand that. Thank you for letting me be a part of that very personal journey for you, especially when you're dealing with something internally. And I think it's really important for us to look outside and find that. I know that you like within your family, you have a twin, you know, your family's close. Within your family, who do you feel is like the one that kind of like really carried you through? Because I mean, you came to the events with your mom, so I'm just
Hands
like,
down. My
how did
mom.
that all
My
come to
mom.
work out where you wanted to work out at an event?
Yeah, my mom is the, I have to say, the reason why I am here. She has helped me through so much and has seen me grow as, like, we were just having this conversation last night, and she's seen me grow as a person. And yes, I am nervous. I'm excited, but that's what life is all about, right? Going to the events with my mom is, and working out with her and seeing her work out to the original Insanity. She would do that all the time, all the time. Like I would be getting home from school and she would be in her room. We could hear the whole house shaking because it was like she was
'Cause I'm
doing the
making you
power
jump.
jumps and stuff. Yeah, I mean, she's just
So
been
did you start
my
working
rock.
out with her, like
We,
because?
yeah, yeah, we've worked. When she let me work out, she was like, you need to be careful because of the how high intensity it is. And she was older than me, and I was really young. But yeah, she's definitely my huge motivator.
And so I know you also, what was the catalyst to you starting therapy? Because I also know that you know, you're the one person that's a very, to me, very young adult. And then when I hear you say, you know, you've been in therapy for 10 years, what was that process like? Like, I really want you to walk me through, like, you first started going to therapy. This is kind of what you, like, not necessarily some of the exercise you did, but what was the process of you going through therapy? Because I want people out there, young and old, to understand how therapy can work. But I think hearing it from you, especially a young adolescent that was in a space that you're constantly questioning everything, I think it'd be nice to hear from your perspective.
It's the commitment. It's the not running away from certain things that have happened and facing them, right? Also, just being able to talk. That's why I'm a huge, like, I'm so passionate about talking and therapy and counseling, is because the more you hold in, at some point people are just gonna explode.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to hold on to it any longer, and you're either gonna snap on yourself or on someone else. And that's why there's just no need for that. Let's just talk about it. That I love to be there for people and talk to people if they're crying, if they're going through a hard time, if they're struggling with a relationship or a friendship, or like, okay, let's sit down, let's talk about it. Cry if you need to. I'm right here, But
Yeah. With your family, you know, just hearing you talk and talk about your family, you know, I think in a sense, even though it was very tough, that you're one of the lucky ones to have had a mom.
oh yeah,
And you know, you have a twin brother who I'm assuming is straight. So you're kind of
yeah,
like, this is really opposite. And I think you have a sister.
yes,
You know,
it's
so
well
you
loved.
have you're home with all these people. Like, how important is you getting support from family, especially as a younger person, like coming into adulthood?
I have definitely noticed that with each and every one of my family members, we all have a different kind of relationship, right? Like, my sister and I are really close. I love her. We hang out all the time. My twin brother lives out in Colorado. Whenever I can pick up the phone and FaceTime him, I can do that. But he's busy skiing and doing what he wants to do. And then I have two older half brothers and my grandmother and everyone. It's just I've had such a good support system along the way. I think that's why I'm able to be so positive too, is because my support system has been so consistent and always having my back and always making sure I'm okay, and vice versa, I'm making sure they're okay. That's why family is everything to me.
I think, you know, a tough question here is a lot of people would say, well, if you had that support system, like, why was it so hard to come out, or why was it so hard to deal with those things? And so I'm going to ask you that question. Like, what was it about your growth that was like really tough? Like, was it something you weren't accepting? Was it like the navigation of it all?
I definitely was scared. I was scared to not be accepted, right? So if I grew up in a loving family, yes, but going to school and having different jobs, and like I was worried what people were gonna think of me. I wore it all over me. Like I changed my hair all the time, and wore different colors and stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely. I was definitely very scared at the time when I was coming out, right, or before I came out, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But to be able to have the support and the acceptance has been huge,
Yeah.
because not everyone has that, and I know not everyone has that, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I like to help other people, and I like to listen. Like when I'm with my clients and at the salon, I'm always in front of them. We're talking, not in the mirror. Like we're in front talking to each other. I've gained such a good relationship or friendship with each and every one of my clients in a different way. But with family too, it's like the same thing. Like we all can like vibe at different times and have deep conversations at different times. It's special.
Yeah. Actually, what's special is I just remember you being so young. And I remember every time I would either come up to you or, make some sort of connection with you, whether it was a picture or like you would always seem so nervous and you seemed like you had so much anxiety. But no, I can
the
tell you this
anxiety
now.
was real.
I can tell you this now. I would never told you that in person. But what I'm saying is the transformation for me to see this once quiet kid sitting in front of me, just like being expressive. And, you didn't seem unhappy in a sense of you didn't have support. Because I think you even came to an event with your dad.
I did a couple events. Yeah.
Yeah, you came to
Yeah.
an event with your dad and your mom. And from my perspective, I was like, this is fantastic. Like, I don't know if this kid has come out to his parents. I don't know what he's going through. Like, because, at the event, we're in this space of like happiness.
Yes.
But I just was like, wow. Like, the fact that you had the support, but also, for me, the transition of seeing you then as this quiet kid to sitting in front of me being expressive and talking, like that in itself is a huge transformation that I want people to know out there. And you stating how going to therapy, you're like just being able to talk. Because a lot of people are afraid to go to therapy, right? And I see like so much of your growth and confidence have come from that. What would you say to people who are afraid to step into that, going to their therapist once or twice a week or once a month?
Talk to your therapist. Don't hide anything. Talk and be honest with them, because they're not going to judge you. You're going to have to face the ugliness for a little bit, the ugly times and the whatever, to get through it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy to hear you say that, because so many people don't want to go to therapy because they say, I don't want to relive that.
They're
not
scared.
Understanding, yeah, that reliving that is the way to heal. I love talking to you, but you talk so much about your mother and how she's been such a support. I want to bring her out to join us, because I have some questions for her about you that I've never gotten to ask.
Okay.
But also just like from a parent perspective on, just how to help others navigate being a parent of a kid that is trying to find themselves and possibly, being a part of the LGBT community. So we're going to bring your mom out.
Awesome.
I'm going to give mom a hug, though, even though we got... How are you? Oh. Mom, welcome.
Thank you, Shaun.
And I want to thank you because, there are so many kids out there who wish they had a mom like you that was just like understanding, supportive, seemingly unpressuring of having your kid find who they are and just being really supportive. What was it like raising this guy? And I say that in a way of, again, from a person who's leading people at these events that is very inspirational, and I see a mom bring their kid over and over again, and his dad would come with him. What was the process like? And like, talk about this journey from, the parent perspective.
Okay, so I am a mother of three, and three very different children. And Quinn was struggling a lot through his early teenage years, and I was very concerned about him. He actually came out to me as being gay with a text message, but I knew from the moment he was 2 years old that he was gay, and it was absolutely fine with me. Like, he's such an incredible, loving soul. He's like my angel. He helps me. And it seemed like, I guess, when he was younger, I would be, like he said, in my bedroom doing, I saw a commercial of yours and I was like, I'm doing this workout. This guy is amazing. And I would be in my bedroom, lock myself in there before the kids came home from school. And I would be, literally the house would be falling down. And he would come into the bedroom and he's like, can I do this with you? Can I do this with you? I'm like, no, it's too intense. Like, you're too young. And then the more we've always been very close. And then eventually I let him do workouts. And then he realized that you were gay. And that made it like put everything in perspective to him. He's like, oh my God, there's this guy that's like incredible, that can be my role model. You are literally, there were pictures of you all over the place. He would do artwork in school and would be all Shaun T things. Like, it's just, I think there's still stuff in his bedroom to this day that says Shaun T, and it's on his like nightstand. And you have just been like this constant force of nature that like helped him really become who he is today. And he's so genuine and real. It's just been an incredible journey. So then I started to go, I'm like, Shaun T is going to be at Mohegan Sun or Minerals Resorts and Spas. And, I remember the first time I saw you, you came off that stage and you made a beeline straight towards me, and I grabbed your legs and I hugged your legs, and you're like, there'll be time for hugging later. That's what you said to me.
Did I
Do you
say?
remember that?
No.
Yeah. You're like,
Oh,
there's
I feel
going to be time
bad
for
now.
hugging later. And I'm like, okay. I was like so intimidated by you, but you just, maybe it was because he was with me, you just came right over to me. And then we were continued to go to, New Jersey and Mohegan Sun. And then we went to your book opening in New York City. And then he did something with his dad that I couldn't be a part of. But yeah, you have transformed both of us. And I was really concerned about him through his teenage years. And I swore that I was not going to have a child that is lost and doesn't know who to turn to. I wasn't going to let that happen. I remember being at work and I would leave the house and he would be alone in the house, and I would call my mom and I'd say, can you please call and check on Quinn, make sure that he's okay, because he was struggling.
Yeah. I mean, and I know this is a tough subject, but I know you had dealt with self-harm. And, and we don't have to go too far into that, but I think with mom just being aware, present, it's like such a comforting thing from the outside in, being able to do that. Like, I think what I really want to know is, like, talk to parents out there who they see that. Like, I love that you're like, I knew since he was 2 years old. Like so many parents out there deny it, and even when their kid comes out, they just can't find a way to support that. And so what would you say to the parent? I mean, you obviously we can get mad and be like, you should accept your kid, but what do you say to a parent who's struggling with, being, because that's what it is. It's struggling of them being able to accept their kid for who they are. So what would you say?
See, this is a hard question for me because I never struggled with it. I did not have one problem with him being gay. Like, I would say you need to just accept your child for who they are and love them no matter what, because love is love, and that's all that matters. And at times I actually felt like I was neglecting my other children because I was not neglecting.
I know what you
focusing. I hyper focused on Quinn, because I wanted to make sure that he was okay. And, parents just let their children grow and flourish the way that they were born to do. It's hard for me to not accept him. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine not accepting Quinn.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that, and I love your answer, which is like, it's just hard for me to answer because this is my kid. But there's a lot of, I say that, and I ask that because I oftentimes say, when people have children, they have an expectation of what they want that child to be. They have a vision of what they want that child to be. Still to this day, people are like, my kid's going to be a doctor, they're going to be a lawyer, they're going to go to an Ivy League school. And having kids of my own, like, it is definitely a balance of letting them be free and independent, but also kind of guiding them. But I just think you did an exceptional job because it's incredibly tough. Like, I'm gay. I'm gay as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been out for 25 years. So like, I have zero issue with my own sexuality, but still to this day, like, if one of my kids came to me and then told me that, they're sick, so I don't know right at this moment whether or not they are, and not from my acceptance of who they are, but like the society,
That
one
was
of the
more
things.
of my concern.
Yeah.
We live in a very small town in Connecticut, and if there's a handful of gay people in the town, that's a lot. So that was a real struggle. It's very sports oriented, and Quinn being a twin to top it all off, and his brother being polar opposite. Polar opposite. Like, girls slobber over him, and it's like sickening almost.
Oh my God.
And then to have, Quinn, that's what I found really hard to deal with, is to be a different mom, to excluding my daughter, but being a different mom to twin boys that are so different. That was what was even harder for me than accepting that Quinn was gay.
Yeah. Because I mean, we oftentimes do take for granted, like, if we had kids, it's like, I'm gonna be a parent and I'm gonna raise them, and it's, I might have a little adjustment here or there. But I also have noticed with our kids, while we teach them the same values and like how to navigate life, like, they're completely opposite. You're just like, sometimes I'm like, well, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, oh my God, you're my favorite person. And it switches up. So I get it. I mean, I use that in a joking manner, but like, for you, it is the polar opposite. You have one child that comes into the world where the majority of society is going to accept them because they fit into the norm, and one that is just, how do we do this? And so, how do you feel today? Like, what is going on with Quinn today?
I'm good. I am proud of myself. I finished school. I'm happy. I can't say I'm happy. I was talking to my mom about it last night, and it's like, we were just talking. We were crying a little bit too, right? But how I could say I'm happy and how I can say I'm thriving. I never pictured myself saying that. So it feels really good to be able to say that, and to have my close-knit people, my close-knit friends, my family is everything to me. I have good coworkers. I have a good job. I'm good.
I love that. I mean, to say I'm happy and to be able to reflect on the total opposite in the past, because I know you oftentimes say, like, you're like, you didn't know how you were going to turn out. And so it's just really, really great. We're going to get out of the heavy stuff because I have some questions. How did he do when he did Insanity at 13 years old? That's what I want to know, because you were very prepared when you came to the event. I was like, oh my God, how's this kid gonna do?
He did really well.
Well, we did it a lot.
We would do it together,
Like all the time. I would do it with my friends. My friends would come over. They're like, "Can we do insanity together?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." Like in my basement, we would just like.
I was literally obsessed. Okay, with you and the workouts. Obsessed. I literally would lock myself, and it was such a vigorous workout. I remember going into the bathroom and this is awful to say, but I would be like dry heaving in the bathroom because it was
done it before.
so freaking intense. And I'm like, there's no way Quinn can do this. There's no way. It's not good for you. You're too young. Like, you're still growing. And he's like, just let me try. Just let me try. And, you know, then we would do it together. We would do it together in my bedroom. And then we moved into a different house. And my husband made a basement room into a workout room for us. And we'd be down there. And he was so tall at that point. He was like hitting the beams in the basement. And, you know, yeah, he wanted to go to the event. I think he was the one that told me, Shaun's going to be in New Jersey or something. And I'm like, really? Shaun does like travels and does shows? He knew more about you than I knew about you. And I was like crazy for you. When we went to that first event together, yeah, I was a little nervous bringing him because I'm thinking, you know, you're going to be the only kid here. Shaun's going to be like, what's going on? I didn't know if you would let him work out. But he did it, you know, he made it. I would be there, you know, I think we fed off of each other with our energy.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can be like, when I'm into something, there's no stopping. Like, there's just no stopping me. So I was like, I'm going to do this if I die on the floor of the Minerals Resorts and Spa. Like, I'm just going to finish this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to prove to myself that I can do it. And
she would look over at me and she would like, don't stop. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. And I'm like, okay. Doing a push-up, like collapsing. I'm like, oh my gosh. But no.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the workout is great, but, you know, I always say what you do in a workout, you do in your life. And I can just tell that while I know you have other kids and we're not playing favorites to Quinn, but knowing that you did the same thing with him. You kept going, and you kept going. And I want to personally thank you because I get to see him today. Because I'll tell you, man, like, I was never like worried about you, you know, because I felt like you would send me messages all the time. And I think we would message back and forth. And I'm like, okay, he's fine. Like, I'm just like, he's good. But also, you know, I'm this grown man and I'm Instagram messaging a teenager. But it was like, but for me, it was like you were really important to me, to us, you know. So, and all of my team we would talk like, oh my God, like Quinn's back, his mom. And Scott and I were just more. I'm assuming him too. I'm sure we talked about it, but we were just more excited about the fact that you had support, you know, because all of us out there who grew up gay have a story. The majority of us didn't have the support that you have. You know, right. I didn't come out till I was 21, and my mom was like you. You know, so I was one of the, I would say, lucky ones, but not everybody is that lucky. So I just want to say thank you for keeping on and treating Quinn like you treated the workout. So great. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some teachable moments that you'll be able to share with yourself, your child, or just a friend. We'll be right back. After listening to Quinn's journey and the challenges faced by many young adults today, let's explore the significant mental health hurdles that affect this group. From identity crisis to societal pressures, these challenges are more prevalent and intense than ever before. We saw how Quinn was uplifted through his entire journey by his mom and what a difference it made in his life having her to support him along the way. So let's discuss how support systems, especially family, can play a transformative role in addressing these issues. Let's talk about some mental health statistics and challenges. Recent findings reveal that 36% of young adults suffer from anxiety, double the rate of teenagers, and 29% report experiencing depression. The primary stressors for these young adults include financial worries, achievement pressures, and a broad sense of societal instability. And the role of family support is huge through this entire journey. Having supportive family relationships are crucial. They not only provide a buffer against these mental health issues, but also foster resilience. Stable, supportive connections with caregivers are often cited as key to building resilience in young people, and awareness goes a long way. At least half of the mental health issues begin by age 14, and 75% of those same issues begin by age 24. This generation may seem more open to discussing mental health and breaking stigmas, but about 67% of young adults aged 18 to 24 with anxiety or depression still will not seek the necessary treatment, often due to stigma and lack of full awareness about mental health. This gap highlights the urgent need for better mental health education, reduce stigma, and enhance access to support. Understanding these facts help us recognize the importance of creating supportive environments where young adults like Quinn can thrive. And you heard him say he's happy and now he's thriving. So, by enhancing mental health education and having open dialogues, we can help alleviate these challenges. As we conclude today's inspiring episode, Quinn's journey reminds us of the incredible strength it takes to be true to oneself and the permanent impact of having supportive loved ones like his mother. To our viewers and listeners, remember, embracing who you truly are is the bravest thing you can do. And having someone in your corner can make all the difference. So keep pushing for authenticity, keep supporting each other, and keep transforming. Until next time, I'm Shaun T. Peace out.